remember when I was turning 30, I had got into a fight, and after the fight I cried, and I won, but I cried and cried and cried because I told myself that I was done with that, but I didn't know how else to resolve my problems. If somebody said something disrespectful to me and somebody did something disrespectful, my first instinct was slap them, punch them, show them don't mess with you. Like, I had no other idea how to solve conflict with anyone else.
I clearly told him when I see her, I'ma smack her.
And it was like, I am 30 years old, and if I have an argument with somebody or somebody says something to me that I don't like, I have no idea how to articulate my feelings and tell them like, hey, you violated me, or I didn't like the way you said that, or I didn't like when you do that. I lost out on so many opportunities, and I burnt bridges, and it didn't register to me, and it didn't click to me like, yeah, you're the problem.
Wow, that's such, man. Fully connected. Yeah. Welcome back to the Fully Connected Podcast, your go-to destination for inspirational conversations to help you become your greatest version. I am your host, Chris Jones, licensed therapist and owner of Fully Connected Counseling. Today, ladies and gentlemen, we got the lovely, J Nichelle here in the building. She is, like I like to say, the Angela Yee of the city.
Woo.
The Angela Yee, the Angie Martinez of the city. All right. She's on several different podcasts, right? She hosts several different podcasts. She's, active in the community. She's always doing something, and everything she does it with flavor. Period. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, we got J Nichelle.
Man, thank you. What an intro. Hold on. Man. Angela Yee. Woo. Angie Martinez.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be
Absolutely.
I love getting interviewed.
I know. You're now on the other side of it. You're now the interviewee, they call, right?
Yeah.
So how does it feel? And feel free to ask me questions too. Because
you know what? I was like, I'm gonna take over this interview because I'm so curious about you. We gotta have you on Flavor because I got so many questions for you.
Definitely, man. I was gonna ask you too, like, how would you define flavor? Because you've been on several different podcasts with that name, Flavor.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So what does flavor mean to Jay?
So flavor to me is really, I feel like that's what separates me and other podcasts because I come with my own flavor, my own spice, my own identity, my own personality. And I feel like I add my own flavor to everything that I do, as I feel like everyone should. You should add your own flavor, your own personality, all of your own talents to whatever that you're doing and not try to be like someone else. And just keep it organic and true to yourself. So that's kind of like what the flavor is all about.
The flavor. Yeah. I like that. I like that. It definitely connects with a lot of people. And so when we talk about flavor, right, I feel like I'm very curious to like, how did you start your journey in this whole podcast world? Because, podcasts, I feel like really blew up like after like COVID. Yeah. They really took a storm. But like, what brought you on the podcast scene?
Really, I had an opportunity to try to figure out what it is that I love and like where my talents are and like what I want to do with myself. Right. And I really enjoy listening to people's story. Yeah. I really enjoy talking to people. I really enjoy asking questions.
Yes. Hey.
And so I was like, maybe I should do a podcast. Maybe I should start a podcast. And I talked to my source about it and I got the green light, and I feel like that really changed my whole life and my whole outlook on my future and what I wanted to actually really do.
Absolutely. And really the same thing for me as well. It's like I love stories, love conversations. Mine at first took a different path, obviously going into the the therapy world. Yeah. But then like this is kind of like the more kind of casual conversation. I don't have to worry about trying to diagnose nobody.
Right. I was going to wonder. I was like, is he going to be diagnosing me the whole time and during the interview?
No. So I take the therapist hat on. I take the therapist hat off. But at the end of the day, I'm just very inquisitive. And I feel like you are too. Like when I watch your shows, like I feel like the one word that comes to me is intuitive.
Yeah. Thank you.
Intuitive. When I see you, like when you're talking to the guests, like it seems like you're very just intuitive. So I didn't know if you want to talk on that. And maybe that's because you tapped into the man upstairs. I don't know.
Man, it gotta be. We all glory to the Most High. So I feel like I really care. Some people that are hosting, especially I've watched other podcasts and I've been a part of other podcasts where it's like they're just reading the question off of the, and they're not really engaged in the conversation, and you can tell it's very scripted. It's very like forced conversation.
Oh, man, Janee, you already started off. You already opened up the can of worms. So
you know, like,
so you were born in Virginia,
and then it's like the conversation can be going somewhere so good, and you're ready for the host to like follow it up with the question that's relative to what they're talking about in that moment, and they completely go left field and go to their next question on their cue card.
And so this is something we learn in therapy, you know. And so like I honestly genuinely feel like you would be a really good therapist.
I was gonna be a therapist. But I'm
still
like,
time. I'm still looking for people to hire.
No, because
looking for people to hire, y'all.
No, not
Janee
me.
Because
I'm too like, I feel like I'm too emotional. I would get too like deeply in the Pisces. That's right.
Hey, I'm a Cancer, so you already know.
Yeah, y'all are.
Yeah, we cool.
Y'all.
Hey, sensitivity is a superpower in the world.
Yeah.
Of, you know, numbness.
I would agree with you.
So it's like I use that to my advantage, you know, obviously like being able to tap in with guests, with my clients. So like, yeah, we might be a little bit sensitive if you want to say that, but I look at that as a strength.
Yeah, I would agree.
But like what you said though, like back to like what you were saying, like, a lot of people, they do kind of read from that script, but not just in the podcast, but like just like in life.
Yeah, yeah.
People live their life like that and it doesn't flow.
It's like, where is the connection, the human connection? And that's what I love about my podcast. When people come on, I always tell them that whatever they're doing, if they're an artist, if they're an entrepreneur, whatever, I want to get to know the person, because I feel like that's who people fall in love with.
Right.
You know,
exactly.
Your music might be okay, or they may not have even heard your music, but they may tap into your music if they
tap into who you are as a person.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And so that, exactly. And I'm glad you said that, because that's what I feel like you were trying, what you do on your show. You know what I mean? What you do. And I haven't really tuned into the podcast with you and Mo, but you know, Mo used to be my neighbor. So he brought me down to Mixdown studio. Shout out to Mixdown.
Shout out Mixdown.
And that was a minute ago.
Yeah. Yeah. No, Mo and Gabby both always tell me like, you're just so natural and all this stuff. And it's a huge compliment. I love my co-host Mo and Gabby, but Mo, the reason I love doing the podcast with Mo and Gabby is because I get to be a different type of person. Like I can relax a little bit. It's more fun. Mo is hilarious. We cut up. If you guys have not seen Real Gossip, go tap in Real Gossip, please.
Real Gossip.
Me and Mo cut up.
Man.
We cut up. And Gabby, that's my, like, you know, my feminine energy, where we can talk about what it's like to be females in like entertainment, females in this like whole industry, period, and where we can both relate and kind of bounce off each other. Definitely.
So what is it like to be a black female in 2024?
Oof, hard. Hard. No, I really feel like it's changed, because there's a lot of women that are entrepreneurs right now, that are in their bag, that are like raising their kids, they're working, they're growing their business. Like, I mean, I think like, I feel so honored to be a woman, just like standing in your goddess energy, and just like really knowing what you want. I mean, it's a powerful thing to be a black woman, for sure.
Oh, absolutely.
Not only just a woman, but like
first one here on the planet.
Yeah, period.
Mathematics.
Okay. Yes.
Everything.
Let them know.
From you guys.
Yes.
Absolutely. Like, real talk. You know, if you could kind of share a little bit about your story, and just like, because you're not even from Wichita.
No.
You know what I mean? You're not even from Wichita, which I think is dope, and I think that that's really cool, but at the same time, nobody would ever even know. No,
because I love Wichita. Like, I love Wichita, and I've left a few times and I've come back and things like that, but this is home for me. Absolutely. And it's funny that you asked me about my story, because I said I never tell this story. When I first got started with podcasting, me and Candy B went to Troy. She introduced me to Troy Andrews. And she was like, we got to meet Troy if we're going to start this podcast, right? I never knew who Troy was. So we come in to meet Troy, and I'm just like, yeah, you're going to want to get a part, you know, be a part of this podcast that we're doing, because it's about to take off. We're about to be the next big thing. And, you know, you want to get on board with us. If you don't, you're missing out, you know. Really came very confident, overly confident. And Troy did not really like me. Like, first impression, he was like,
dang,
she's kind of arrogant, you know, she's kind of, but I felt like at the time that, really, like, I believed in myself that much, you know, and believed in what I wanted to do. And it's like, look, we really don't need you. We're gonna do this, and it's gonna be big with or without you. I'm giving you an opportunity to be a part of something.
That's how you about to move around.
That's how I'm
it's
about
like,
to
hey,
move.
like this is gonna happen regardless. Hey, the party's happening, but you're welcome to come. But
I want
if
you a part of it. Yep.
That kind of energy, right? That's how you attract abundance in life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because that's not coming from a place of lack.
No.
You just like, hey, I'm going to do this, and I would love to have you, but if you don't want to come,
hey,
I'm still showing up.
You're lost.
Yeah.
Type thing. And I thought that he would like that energy because it was like, wow, you know, like she's passionate, she's confident, like she's gonna do this. Like it totally backfired. Like he did not like it. But I kind of in my thought process, that's how I would tell anybody to approach anything that they're doing, because I feel like a lot of the times, especially women coming in the industry, like you gotta almost let your nuts hang, like in a sense, you know, you gotta come and know and be confident,
right,
and be passionate in what you believe in, because sometimes people don't see it. People don't see your dream. People don't see your vision, and it's almost like you can really start questioning your dreams. You can start questioning your thoughts. You can start questioning, you know, what you're gonna do if you don't have that kind of attitude and that approach.
How did you get that attitude?
Oh my gosh.
Like something, you know, in your, you know, childhood happened, you know, obviously for you to get that attitude. You know, because I think the attitude is definitely needed for like business or even just being a woman, like you said.
I think it comes from overcoming so many adversities, and then finally getting to the point where I believed in myself, and overcoming so many people told me I wouldn't do something, or I wasn't going to make it out of something, I wasn't going to be something. Like I didn't even think I was going to graduate high school, and then I ended up going to college. Like I never even thought about going to college, you know. I was an athlete, and I played basketball, and I ran track, and my sister was the fastest girl in the state, like 3 years in a row. And that's like, you're never gonna beat her, which I never did, but I worked my butt off to get on the same relay team as her. We broke records, and we traveled the world. So
Venus and Serena kind
I
of
know
stuff.
Right? Yeah. Basically of track. And I just, so many times people just counted me out. And when people count you out like that, you really have to dig deep and tell yourself like, nah, I'm not going to listen to that. You know, no, I'm going to show them, you know. Or you can choose the other route, which is to just listen to what they say, give up and tuck your tail and put your head down.
And think about why you don't want to do that, you know?
Exactly.
You don't want to do that. You know, and so then like what keeps you from doing that approach? Because for some people it's very easy just to kind of tuck your tail in and just keep the peace, if you will.
Not me. I'm a competitor. Like
there we go. There's that.
That's me. Like
sports. That's
sports.
in the sports background, right?
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, you're gonna have to. You can beat me. You're gonna have to show me.
Hey.
Even if I know you can beat me, you're still gonna have to. You're still gonna have to show me.
What do you feel like are some things you're competitive with? You know.
Everything. Like everything. Like me and my kids will do paper scissors rocks. Like what they call it here, rock paper scissors or something. They always tell me.
What do you guys call it in Denver?
Paper scissors rocks.
Paper scissors rocks.
And then
I thought y'all would call it rock first because y'all got the Rocky Mountain.
I know, right? We're backwards.
Yeah, but so my brother's out there actually in Denver, so I'm actually going to go out there next week.
I love Denver.
Yeah. Be out there next week.
It's crowded now, though.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's crowded now.
Crowded. How did you get from Denver to here?
Really, it's so crazy. We were homeless in Denver. Like I grew up very rough. Projects, like homeless, like very, very, very hard. Which I wouldn't change anything about the way I grew up. I didn't have my mom and dad all the time, but me and my mom are so close now. I just hate always like reminiscing on that because I don't want her to feel like, you know, embarrassed because my mom is a strong woman. She's an excellent woman, but she fell victim to a lot of what Black people fell victim to in the 80s, you know. So I'm not mad at her. She's a great woman. I've learned a lot from her mistakes. I've learned a lot from her successes. But we had it rough. I mean, we had it rough growing up. It was a tough childhood. And when we moved to Denver, I had an aunt here that was doing very well for herself. And we moved here from Denver to basically start over.
Yes.
And I hated Wichita for like 3 years. I hated it here.
Oh, man.
It was too hot. First of all, I was like, like, how do people live here? It's hot. We moved in the summertime.
Right.
From Denver.
Yes.
It was hot. Like, I could not deal. And
yeah, man.
We rode the bus a lot in Denver. Like, that was a very common thing, you know.
There's no bus. I mean, there's a bus.
There's a bus. It's better now, but when I first moved here, it was like, how do people get around? Like, and it was kind of like lame here to ride the bus. In Denver, it wasn't lame. It was like,
it's like a stigma. If you're catching the bus in Wichita,
you're a bum. It's like, no, but in Denver, like, everybody rode the bus. It was cool.
Exactly. My brother, he actually used to ride the bus, or like drive the bus in Denver. So, I mean, you probably seen him back then. I don't know how long it was when you were out there in Denver.
Years.
I'm
not even going to date myself like that. Years. I moved here when I was 13.
He said, I'm not
even going to date myself.
I'm still young.
Yeah, I moved here when I was 13. So
13, yep.
And I feel like that was a crazy moment, too, just being like a teenager.
Right.
And moving here. It was a culture shock.
Absolutely.
Like, I experienced some things where I was like, huh? Like, and I was in 8th grade. It was summer going into 8th grade. So I went to Coleman.
Yes.
Got into a few poom poom pals.
You know, Coleman used to be a bomb shelter.
It looks like it used to be a bomb shelter. I can't believe that.
The way that it's shaped.
Yeah.
Because I used to work there. Would talk to some of the middle school kids there. But yeah, like Coleman used to be a bomb shelter.
Yeah.
That's what they say. So I don't know if that's all the way accurate. But
I think that energy, that like negative, like toxic bomb type energy, like I don't know, because I swear I didn't do anything to anybody, and I'm like, why am like people hated me there?
Man, it's crazy. And I was curious too, because for one, obviously you're pregnant. I know this episode will air probably after the baby's already here, but I am curious if you know the gender.
She.
Okay.
I'm pregnant with a girl.
Okay, so this is it, because you don't have any girls.
No, I do. I have a 16-year-old daughter.
Okay, so you got a 16-year-old daughter, and then how old is your son?
I have 2 sons.
You have 2 sons.
I have 2 sons, so 12 and 11.
12 and 11, so 7th grade, 6th grade.
Yep.
And then you got sophomore.
Yep.
There we go. Yep. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And so then you're going to have a new addition.
Yes.
To the family.
Yes. We started over because I met the love of my life.
Shouts out to Kurt. It's Kurt, right?
Shout out to my baby. Shout out to Kirtland. You know, it's funny because when I had my last son, it just happened very non-conventional. Like, I was brokenhearted. I was out here, like, sowing my wild oats.
Coming to America.
Coming to America. And, I did not get pregnant on purpose, but so I went through the whole pregnancy and everything alone, and that'll really devastate you, you know, as a woman, as a person. Like, you just like, man, I really messed up, but you know, I stepped up to the plate and I gave birth to my son King, and I'm so grateful and so happy that I did. And after I gave birth to him, I was like, I'm gonna tie my tubes. You know, I never want to go through anything like this again.
Yeah.
And again, I went to my source. I always do.
Yeah.
And I always tell people God talks to me very clearly, where I can hear Him very clearly, and I feel like we have a direct path of communication. And God told me, your husband is on the way. I'm sending you a king.
There we go.
And he's gonna want a child, and that's your gift.
Wow.
And here Kirtland is. He has 1 child biologically. Shout out my bonus daughter, Kiana.
Okay.
And when we got together, that's one of the first things he said was like, I want a kid. And I was like, well, you got to earn a kid, because I ain't just giving you no kid. And 4 years later, here we are. About to have our baby.
I love that story. I love that story so much. And I was curious. I wanted to ask you, right? Because I work with a lot of young adults in my full-time job, right? As a therapist. And I see a lot of like young women are very fearful, not alone of having a baby, but also marriage.
Yeah.
And I wanted to know if you could speak on that a little bit, you know, because some of my clients, they watch the show. And so then what would you say to some of these young women who are just like fearful of marriage and all this stuff, you know, because obviously it can be difficult, but like you seem like you embrace all that, you know?
Because it definitely can be when you become somebody's wife, especially women, you know, we put ourselves last. We're the nurturers, we're the lovers, you know. So we're taking care of the kids, and we're taking care of our husbands, and we're, you know, doing all these working, and, you know, a lot of times we put ourselves dead last, like very dead last. And sometimes it's very scary to, you almost feel like you're giving up a part of yourself to become somebody's wife, and giving up some of your freedoms, and, you know, giving up, you feel like you're giving up a lot. But that's what I will say, when it's the right person, when you find the right person, you ain't giving up nothing. You are gaining so much. And if you feel like you're losing, maybe that's not the right person, you know.
Wow, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. I never thought about it like that. You're gaining. Yeah. And so once again, like the lack mindset, some people are seeing it like, oh, I gotta give up a little bit of my freedom, I can't hang out with my girls, whatever it is. But it's like you're gaining a whole new addition to your family. That's beautiful.
When Kirtland came around, it was the first time in my life where I felt like I didn't have to carry so much of the load. The load was so heavy, and I trusted him to take some of the load and to lead the family. And that was hard because I had been a single mom for so long, and I had been in charge of the household. Like it had all been on my shoulders. The fact that I found somebody when I was able to say, here, take some of this, you know, and he's like, no problem, give me some more, no problem, give me some more, you know. And my friends love him. They all call him bro. Like my girls love him. I don't feel like I had to change anything about myself. As a matter of fact, I would not get married until you know exactly who you are and exactly what you want in a partner.
Absolutely.
But we both sat down and we were very honest and very transparent about like, hey, this is me, this is what I'm doing, this is the direction I'm going. You coming, or you getting in the car, or you not getting in the car?
We going on a road trip. we going.
And I love that because, you know, a lot of the time my son, he's dating now. He's in 7th grade. He told me that him and his girlfriend just hit 3 months.
Hey, shouts out to your son.
Hi, TT.
3 months is difficult as a middle schooler, right?
Right. And he was
with technology and social media, like it'd probably be even harder.
Yeah, you know, you remember puppy love. So
yeah, right. It's puppy love though.
He told me, he said, you know about the 3-month rule, right? And I was like,
what's that?
No. And he was like, they say like after 3 months, you know, a relationship usually ends because people change. Like, and the relationship changes in 3 months. I said, woo, if that was the case, you know, a long time ago, I don't know, 3 months. But people usually can pretend longer than 3 months. Maybe not for middle school. But
it's pretend. I'm not trying to pretend at all.
Yeah, at all.
Man.
So that's what I love, is because I told Kirtland, like, I don't have no time to waste. I don't have 3 months. I don't have 3 weeks. I don't have 3 hours. Like, tell me what it is right now and let me decide if that's something I want to deal with.
What do you think a lot of women should be looking for? Because maybe some women are not looking for the right qualities or values in a man, and they constantly go into the same cycle of trauma and drama, you know?
Ooh, somebody that's honest. Yeah. Somebody that's honest. Somebody that knows who they are. That is comfortable in who they are. Someone who's not afraid to lead. You know, it's hard to say what I think someone else should look for, because, you know, every woman has their own needs.
But there's like a foundation of like things that we really need, and the rest are kind of just like, you know, preference. But you definitely need to be honest, right? And
you have to have somebody that you can really talk to. Like me and Kirtland have some of the most uncomfortable, like transparent, real conversations, like where other people are like, I don't know if I could talk to my partner like that. Like, you better, like, if that's the person you're waking up with and going to sleep with and spending your money with and growing your family with, like, you better be able to talk to them about everything.
That's so true. That's so true.
So somebody you can really, like, be yourself around. You don't have to pretend. You don't have to put on a facade. You don't have to be somebody that you're not in order to make the relationship work. Because if you do, then it's not gonna work.
No,
it's not gonna work.
This is the representative that comes out. It's not you.
And I think that's the problem with a lot of relationships, is that people go into it with being their representative, not being their true self. And then it's like you go through things with people and they're like, you changed. It's like, no, they always been this way.
That was the representative you were dating for those 3 months.
Yeah. 3 month rule.
Yes, like your son said, after the 3 months, that representative He's checking out.
He's checking
clocking
out.
You know?
Yes.
Definitely, man. What would you say though for like men? You know, like obviously you're married now, but like I feel like there's a lot of men who, you know, especially with all the different podcasts that are out. But like maybe a little bit of advice for men, if like so let's say there's a single male, all right, and he's trying to find a nice, lovely woman like yourself.
Oh, thank you.
You know, how can they be able to find their queen? You know, what do they need to do?
You know what? Man, like, Curlin opens every door for me. He opens every door. He pursued me. And I feel like a lot of men, I don't know if they're scared or intimidated or scared of rejection or what is going on.
Right.
But I feel like there's so many beautiful women that I know that are like, nobody talks to me. Nobody pursues me. So I just feel like a lot of men, like, first of all, just try not to be so worried about the rejection. You know, don't be afraid to open a door. Don't be afraid to buy a drink. In Wichita, when I was single, going to the club, very rarely did any guy ever ask me, what you drinking? Do you want something to drink?
Oh, wow.
That wasn't a friend or, you know. But when I go out of state, like, that's the first thing a guy says, like,
what you drinking?
What you drinking?
Okay.
Like, you don't want to spend that $7 because you might not get the number? What? What? Like, she ain't using my $7.
You know, the other thing too, you know, you're funny. Like, I feel like you can do comedy. Like, you're funny. Like, even like the role you played as Desi, right? Emcees. Shouts out to Troy. You know, Troy. Like, it's a level of humor to it. Like, even when you guys were on stage, I don't know what that song was y'all were singing, but
Any, many, miny, mo.
Who came up with that?
I did.
You came up with it. Wow.
Look, Troy comes to me and he's like, this scene needs something, Janee. He's like, I need you to get on stage and I need you to freestyle a song. Wow. And already in my mind, I'm like, Megan Thee Stallion, Cardi B. And he's like, we need to keep it a little family appropriate. And I'm like, well, that took about 90% of my vocabulary. All the songs I had, all the ideas just went out my head. But no, I was like, all I can do is like a nursery rhyme, right?
Okay.
So,
that's what most of these raps are nowadays anyway. They put me to sleep.
So my co-star in that scene, Nyree, shout out my girl Nyree,
that's her
Lexi
name.
in the movie.
Yeah.
I was like, you know, in the movie, I don't know if you guys have seen it, but go watch it. It's out on Amazon and Tubi right now, The Seeds. So, my girl Lexi in the movie, she's kind of obsessed with my homie Shane.
Right.
She's like, he's like not really feeling her.
That's the therapist, right?
That's the therapist.
Hey, Troy, come and get me on there, the real therapist in the movie, bro.
Yeah. Come on, Troy. We recruiting. This recruiting time because you know he's making more movies.
They said, yeah,
he's making more movies.
Yep.
But she's kind of like feeling my guy Shane. And in the movie, for me, for my baby daddy, I'm just like, you know, I kind of want him, but I kind of don't. I'm that toxic baby mom. Like, I don't want him, but nobody else can have him either.
That's a whole nother topic.
I'm toxic in the movie, y'all.
I'm toxic in the movie.
A little bit. So I'm like, you know, I start singing the Any, Mini, Mighty, Mo song in reference to like catch a tiger, you know, let him go. If he hollers, let him go. Kind of like if the man don't want you, you know, let him go.
Okay.
Kind of is my thought.
I didn't even really think about it like that.
Yeah. Okay. So I told Nyree, Lexi in the movie, I said, when I say let him go, I want you to go rawr like that to Shane because you're just so obsessed with him. She's like, rawr. And I was like, yeah, I need you to commit to it, like make it look crazy.
Wow.
And she was first like, when I told her we got to come up with this song, she's a real singer in real life. Really? So she was like really trying to come with a good song and sing like real notes. I was like, no, girl, like we cannot sound good. We have to sound
bad.
We have to sound bad.
That had to be really hard for her.
That was really hard for her because she was trying to sound bad, but I was like, no, you sounded too good. Like, can you? And that's why she hit that note and was like cracking her voice and everything. But yeah, we had to do that scene like 4 times. And it was so hot.
And where was it at again?
Sidelines.
See, I still haven't been there yet.
Yeah.
I know Angelo told me about it.
Listen, I love...
they support hip hop, so
they do. I love Kevin and Jaren, and they used to let us do stuff all the time at their venue. So You know, can't say nothing bad about Sidelines, but it was hot.
It was hot.
We was there for hours, okay? In between the scenes, like, ooh, God bless the film crew. Because in between the scenes, they were, like, fanning us and, like, trying to get everybody to cool down. Yeah, it was a hot mess, but... Yeah.
Speaking of cooling down, like you haven't cooled down yet since the movie. Like you're constantly going. Like, what do you see? Like, what is your mission exactly? I feel like you're on this mission. I don't know what the vision is that you see. You know, whether it be for Wichita or for hip hop or just for you. But like, I feel like maybe you do have like some kind of mission that you are on.
Yeah.
You know.
You know, like, really, it's crazy because I had to take a step back because I felt like I'm just walking and I don't have no direction, no plan. Like, I don't have the blueprint anymore. I'm just walking. And and I really was like, I don't even know where I'm going anymore. Really? And I guess the mission really has always been in my mind, like, to just keep the door open and walk by faith and not by sight. Okay. But if you don't have a plan and you're just walking, you know, like, I don't know if that's a good thing. You know, you gotta have some type of blueprint, or
like a blueprint and faith combined.
Yeah, definitely. Okay. And so it's like, I'm not gonna shut any doors. I'm not gonna say no to things. Like, I'm willing to open myself up for all opportunities out there, and, you know, go to my source and say, hey, do you think I should do this? Is this a good idea? Like, and if it's for me, I always pray. I walk where God tells me to.
There you go.
I really don't have a plan.
Where do you feel like he's telling you to go and walk? What doors to open now?
I think God is telling me, really, to be honest, to be still. To be still. And that's why I haven't been doing a lot of my flavor episodes. Okay. Because I feel like...
I just thought it was because you were pregnant.
Nope. Because I'm still doing mic check with Gabby. You know, I'm still... And I coordinate a lot of things from the back end, you know. So I still do those things, but I just feel like I need to rebrand some things. I need to change it up a little bit. And when God tells me to move, I'll move. So
then maybe like take a break from like interviewing artists or like rappers. Yeah. You know, because I know you love hip hop, but then it's kind of like, you know, even for me as a producer, like, and DJ, like I took a break from it, you know, and haven't really been producing as much. For me personally, it's just the love I have for hip hop. Yeah. It's just not the same as it used to be, you know, and I don't know if that's just me, like, growing up, being more mature now, having a son, you know, but I kind of got down about that a little bit, but, you know, there's still artists that I like, but I was going to ask you, too, like, what do you feel like the state of hip-hop nowadays, you know, because you're very, very heavily involved talking to the artists in the city, you know, but where is hip-hop going, like... Ugh. You know, because there's positive, we can see that, but like, where is it going?
You know, what I'm going to say, as a hip hop fan and as someone who loves music, I'm very happy to see so many female artists. I'm so happy. So many. And a lot of them are real lyricists. Like, they're not paying ghostwriters. Like, they are real lyricists. They're coming with bars and cadence and punchlines, and I mean, they really giving shaking booty at the same time, honey. Okay, a lot of our ladies are really stepping up to the plate, but I do feel like Kendrick Lamar's recent pop-up concert let me know that hip hop ain't dead.
Oh no,
it's not dead. It's still here, alive and well.
Absolutely.
But sometimes I seen the interview you did with Angelo, and he talked about just like instant, like popcorn type, hip hop songs. You know, you got all of these people that are making it big off of putting their stuff on TikTok or YouTube, and they're just like kind of like blowing up.
Right, and but that's the only like single, like that's the only song. Yeah, you look at the album, it's like, what else is in here?
Yeah, nothing.
You know,
a lot of one-hit wonders. Yeah, a lot of one-hit wonders. Exactly. But I do feel like, at the same time, I do feel like being that person that knows what it's like to spend hours like trying to perfect something. You know, because some of these artists, They spend hours in the studio.
Hours.
Lots of money that they really do not have, because a lot of artists are broke. A lot of them are broke.
There's a couple O's in there.
Yeah. Oh, yes, because I deal with a lot of them. So a lot of them
they got to put up that illusion, though.
They do.
If they want to maintain, nobody wants to listen to a broke rapper.
I know, but you know what? I don't like that.
I know.
Because I'm just like, do you know how many
Isn't
people
yeah.
would just relate to you more if you were just authentic? Like, I'm down bad, I'm broke, I ain't got no, you know what I mean? Instead of trying to paint this illusion like everything is
exactly
like you just balling out of control. You're not.
It's that representative again.
It's that
and
representative.
So what we call that in psychology is the ego.
Yeah.
The ego. You know what I mean? And so then, like, I think as a community, we let the representative of the ego come up too much because we fear vulnerability.
And then you know what happens? That's when you get blasted, or when something comes out that's so embarrassing and, you know, even damaging to your career, because you're not being real, you're not being genuine, you're not being authentic. And people know that. Yeah, people are gonna see that. Can't hide. Like,
you can't. Just, you got to air out your own dirty laundry, folks.
Yes.
Because eventually
Look
somebody
at P. Diddy. I said
that's a whole episode.
I said it. Look at Diddy.
And everybody, 50 Cent warned us. Everybody told us.
Everybody told us. And you know what? We never want to listen. We never want to listen.
And the crazy thing, it's just like R. Kelly. Like, we knew. When he made Ignition Part 2, we knew.
Come on.
We knew, but the docu-series
Come on.
made everybody, like,
we knew when we seen him with Aaliyah, like, something
man,
right.
that whole song, you just look at it and listen to it completely like different. Because he produced it.
Ugh.
He produced it. He's in the studio with that shit. Oh,
yes.
God. Isn't that crazy?
It is crazy.
It's crazy.
It is crazy. And I just feel like there's a lot of hidden, like, monsters. Like, that's why I would never, in the music industry, that's why I would never, I always joke about how I'm going to do a song. Like, I love to sing.
I was going to ask you about that. Yeah.
I love to sing. And I even love to rap. Like, I used to date this artist, and I would write raps when we were
I knew. Man, I'm not surprised.
So funny. I always joke about, like, how I'm going to get in the studio and record something just one time, just to say that I did it. But to actually be in the industry, like, I know so many DJs, I know A&Rs, I know label owners, and I'm like,
you got connections.
Yeah, and they're cutthroat, baby. Like, you got to be ready to. I seen Busta Rhymes in an interview one time, and he said you got to be maniacal in this industry. Wow. And he said, I don't even like that word, but that's very much true. You have to be maniacal. Like, you have to be a certain level of I don't want to say evil, because it's not, like, but a certain level of I don't know, hunger. I don't know what the exact word is, but you got to be
kind of narcissistic. Kind of.
And you have to watch, like, because there's so many people that you would think is on your team and that's rooting for you and they want you to win. They're just trying to get in where they can fit in.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
And so, like, the whole industry is based on that kind of energy, and then we can already see what happens.
Yeah.
You know, and so it's crazy when you think of it like that. But yeah, you got to be cutthroat. You're trying to be, because when I would produce, you know, with different artists, I'm like, man, like, if you really want to make it, like, you got to be social.
Yeah.
This is an industry all about connections.
Very much.
But not just music. Every industry. You gotta stay connected.
Yeah, and a lot of people are socially awkward. I mean, a lot of people.
These kids nowadays.
They're socially awkward. They are very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Like, even having just a one-on-one dialogue with anyone.
How did you get so comfortable with communication?
Really, to be honest, I always tell everybody, like, I was so scared. Like, and I just learned to just push that down. Like, because I want to connect. I want to connect more than my fear. You know, like, my fear is weighing, like, a lot. But my passion to want to connect with people is more. You know? So
I love it.
I would push that fear down of social anxiety.
Yeah, it's real.
And it is real.
It's a real
It's
thing.
very real. And it became easier with time, because so crazy, all the people that I've met, all the people I've interviewed, I'm like, oh, they're just like me, or, you know, they're just
Right.
They're cool.
Because in the beginning, it's like, oh, like this is how I sound on the mic. This is how I look on the camera.
Yep.
Like people don't realize, like even just being in front of the camera, like that's one obstacle to get over.
Yes.
I've had several different people I want to interview on the podcast, but just them being open and honest with me about like not wanting
to be on camera.
Yeah. You know, it's scary for some people.
It is. And it's crazy because even when I do my podcast, it's usually just me and the guest. Like there's not a whole big team of people like in the background and things like that. Yeah. And they're still sweating and they're still scared. I'm like, it's just me in here. Yeah. Like, ain't nobody.
I was sweating a couple weeks ago when we had Frederick going because it was hot. It was hot outside. I was hot. I came in, I had a little sweat stain right here in the middle of the shirt. I went back to edit it. I was like, dang, but I was like, I'm just gonna keep it real. Like it was like 100 and something too. 100 degrees.
But your audience is gonna love you for that realness and that authenticity.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah. Break it down.
Yeah, they're gonna love you for that.
But even like that right there, just like realizing that we make mistakes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I remember when I used to rap back in high school. Right. This is how it all started because XV. I was a huge XV fan.
In high school?
Oh yeah.
I know, right?
Middle school.
He's been doing it for so long.
Royalty City, first drive. What's up, X?
Yes. What's up?
You know, and so XV is the best artist in the city we ever had. Thank you. XB has done so much. Kendrick Lamar, you know, Big Sean, Bun B, Wiz Khalifa, Mac Miller, Lil Wayne, like Neo.
Did I see he had a song with Nipsey, or am I tripping?
He met Nipsey. Nipsey liked the Planet Squarian album, I believe. Yep.
Yeah.
Because you're around XV's age. You're a little bit younger, right?
We went to the same high school. Mm-hmm. I'm younger. Yeah, I went to Southeast. Buffalo.
Hey, black and yellow.
Period.
There we go. Man, high school was a long time. Yeah. But so you went to Southeast. I did not know. Have you been to the new campus?
I have, and I hate it.
Really?
When they were taking the old, when they,
you don't like the
my heart broke. I was like, there's so many memories there. Why?
They said the energy, like how you felt about Coleman.
Yeah.
They're like, we gotta get out of here.
It's still there.
But like then too, speaking of like of school, especially high school, I feel like, you know, you doing something for these young adults. I mean, young women, like in the schools. Like I think they will look up to you for sure.
I want to do more like public speaking and getting out there and like talking to young girls because there's not a lot. I watched your podcast and I was like, he's had all male guests, like all of the podcasts that are loaded. I was like, where are the females?
Exactly.
Where are the ladies?
I want to have a good balance.
Yes, but I'm learning now. You do have ladies that
those episodes coming.
They're coming, and I'm like, there's a lot of ladies out here doing it, but it's kind of hard to see just because there are more guys like out there, you know, in entrepreneurship and podcasting and
absolutely
artistry, being artists and things like that. So it's the ladies are sprinkled off in there, but I definitely want to reach out to the up and coming generation and just let them know, like, hey girls, we can do this.
Hey, so true. You can do it. Now I was thinking because I remember back in 2016 I was at K-Sun and that's when I met Candace.
Okay.
So I don't know if you guys were doing your guys' show there at K-Sun 95.9. When you guys had that first?
She was doing a radio show there. I remember she used to do a radio show there. We were not doing it there. Me and Candy started off at Troy's at Vibe Wichita.
Okay, Vibe Wichita.
And then we went to Poly Productions.
Okay. So did they have their own thing? You could just rent a space at Poly?
Poly we had a sponsorship with them. Okay. So we was not renting space. They actually like really wanted to invest in us and was like, we're making this podcast room and blah, 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 blah. And needless to say, it didn't work out. Like I love the space,
right?
Like, and I've never really met Polly, but everything I feel like that I've gone through in this journey has happened for a reason.
Absolutely.
And I've made connections that I still have today. So we went from Troy's, and then we went to Polly's, and then we went nowhere. Me and Candy actually went our separate ways.
Right.
And then I went to is it called K-Sun?
Yeah, K-Sun 95.9.
K-Sun, yeah. I went there with my new partner at the time, Chris.
We're talking about sports, right?
We were legit flavor.
Oh, okay.
And the legit sports talk was an idea that actually came along from somebody else that wanted to do legit sports talk.
You keep that flavor everywhere you go.
Right.
I see that. You know what I mean? Like,
because that's my thing,
that's
right?
Your thing.
And
yes.
That's so funny that you say that because Big Win, he actually did my LLC, and you know, I used to talk to him. No, Brian Wynn. He does what is his business called? He does it with Broderick. They do like the roadside assistance.
Oh, okay.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
I think I heard of them, yeah.
And they do a Kansas collaborative with Bryce Graham and things like that. Well, he does
You gotta get Bryce on the show.
I've interviewed Bryce, but I do need to get Bryce on again, just meet him and catch up for sure. I love Bryce. But I went to Big Win and he was like, why don't you just change your name? Like, you know, you've already went through having a partnership with Candy and you guys were Flavor in the Mix, and then you went to Chris and you were legit Flavor. He was like, why don't you just completely start over and scrub the Flavor and do a different name? And I was like, because that's me. I'm not giving that up.
Yeah, well, that's the sauce.
I'm the sauce.
That's the sauce.
Period. And he was like, okay, so that I just don't want to give that up.
It's so important to, you know, it's good to get advice, but you have to know yourself to know what works, because see somebody else who's not as confident, they would have took that advice and scrubbed the flavor off. And then
and it's so crazy because everybody that I like, Ado, he calls me Flavor. Like, he be like, what up, Flavor? Like, so many people call me Flavor. They don't call me Jay, they don't call me Janae, they don't call me J Nichelle. They call me Flavor.
Dang. So you've been in it. You've been doing this for about what, 3 years or so?
Yeah, about 4 years now.
Wow. So the thing is, like, with podcasts is, you know, a lot of people are trying to figure out how to monetize it. You know, because like you have to put in so much work just to be able to get a penny. But just with YouTube in general. And Instagram's not paying out anymore. You know, so it's just like
so hard, right? You
gotta really just like talking to people.
You have to really just like
because you're gonna be talking to people for a minute before you get a check.
And then you gotta sit here, you talk to them, and then you go edit, and then you break it down, and you market it, and you know, like all these things.
Yes. Because see, this one took me a little while, because when I had the show at K-Sun, you know, we were interviewing guests, you know, and whatnot, and I just hated video editing. But I have a whole new respect for people who are doing YouTube or stuff like Troy, or because like, man, we're like, at least I'm an amateur when it comes to video and whatnot. I know a little bit with audio, but man, it's a whole
different monster. And then when you're playing so many different roles and wearing so many different hats, it's really hard to kind of zoom in and commit to like one thing.
Oh my gosh.
And you're a really good host. I wanted to tell you that too. When I just watch your interviews, because I'm like, your transitions, you know, your conversation flows nicely. You always follow it up with a good question.
I always wonder, like, what do people think? But then again, I'm like, man, I'm just gonna be me, like
just
how you do. Like, it's just gonna give me too much anxiety if I'm overthinking it. You know what I mean? Like, we could edit out those parts, but even when I go back to edit out, I'm like, man, I'm just gonna keep. Okay, I stuttered there. Who cares? Like, I'm gonna keep it. It sounds organic. You know. And I've been glued in. Like, your episodes are not short; they're long. No, they go long. And I'm glued in though the whole time. I feel like because people get comfortable. Like 30 minutes in, that's when it kind of really like boom. It's hard to keep people's attention for even 5 minutes. Let alone. It's dope. It's dope being able to have like all these episodes of talking to people, because like you never know, and this may be kind of dark, but you never know, like something might happen. No, definitely. You know, and now you can go back and be like, man, I got a whole hour and 30 minutes with this person. You know, and I feel like it's a beautiful thing. You know, and even too, like for your kids, like, you know, they can go back and watch, like, wow, mom got a podcast. I know my kids think I'm famous. Like, they think I'm somebody. I'm like, I ain't nobody. Wichita famous, son. Yeah, when people say that, like, they think I'm like this big. I'm like, that is so crazy. I don't see myself like that at all. Some people just have it. At first, I thought you were a Leo. No. Oh, okay. Why? What just because Leos, they like to be, you know, they're the lion. Like, I grew up, my mom's Leo, my grandma's Leo, my dad's a Leo, my cousin, like all around Leos. So what are they like? They're just dominant, like. They're just like Angelo. He's a Leo, so like, you know, Leos. They're the lion. Okay. You know, they walk into the room and, you know, people just kind of recognize. Oh, okay. You know what I mean? But Pisces, you know, the Pisces are cool too. Everybody wants to hate on the Cancers, man. I think it's just because the name. Y'all got a bad rep. Y'all Cancers, man. Somebody did y'all. Somebody out here is not representing. They messing it up for y'all. I think it was Bush. I think it was George Bush. But no, really, Bush is funny as hell. Probably George Bush. That's hilarious. I did this. Most people don't know about this, but back in 2012, I used to do stand up, like open mic nights. You're brave. At the stand up is hard. And I did it just for the just to try it, just like the risk to see what would happen. What happened? The first time went really well. Really? Second time was bad. I tried to do. I tried. Man, no. The second time. The first time I was like, man, I think I know what I want to do in the world. I was still in school. I was like, man, because I did this project in biology class, and like everybody voted for me to have the best like presentation because I made everybody laugh.
Okay.
And this girl, she came up to me. She's like, man, you should do stand up at the Looney Bin. Like, here's the number. Like, you know, my dad works there. And I was like, okay. And I was like, I'm gonna go.
Yeah.
And I like back then I was very shy. I don't even know what got into me, but I didn't tell anybody about it. Wow. I just went. And this was back when Looney Bin was on 21st and Woodlawn, like right down the street from where I grew up. And I went there, and I remember it was when Chick-fil-A was opening up. So I said some jokes about Chick-fil-A. And it went really good that first time, but that second time, man, I was trying to make the joke about
back at the Looney Bin.
Yeah, I was trying to make the joke about like how me and Bush are the same Zodiac songs.
It didn't land.
It did not land. It was bad.
I feel like you have to bomb though, as a comedian. Like you have to.
But the thing is that you're not ready for success if you can't deal with the feedback. I wasn't ready for the feedback in the comedy world. I was like, no, this is a hard job.
I said no.
It's a hard job because you're trying to make people laugh. You're constantly needing the approval of the audience.
That's it. But you know, I feel like some of the best. Who is your favorite comedian?
Ooh, man, good question.
Who's your favorite?
Man, I feel like usually I would just know on the top of, you know, I really like Kevin Hart's earlier stuff.
Okay.
But I would say, if I'm going to say my favorite, I would probably say Dave Chappelle.
Ooh, that's good. I love Dave Chappelle. Man,
I would probably say, I do like Chris Rock, like on some of his like earlier stuff. Like I like Chris Rock.
Stand up or Chris Rock stand up or Chris Rock movie, like
man, that's a good one. That's
because
man, both.
Yeah.
Both. Like, I mean, I feel like Chris Rock has done a lot for the culture.
Definitely.
Chris Rock is definitely on the autism spectrum.
Yeah.
I think people forget about that. But me as a therapist, I'm like, yeah, and he'll tell you, like, as a therapist, I'm like, yeah, he's on the spectrum.
Okay.
Yeah.
The spectrum is big, though.
Oh, yeah. My son's on the spectrum.
I was like, I could be on the spectrum.
My son's on the spectrum, actually. Yeah, we got him evaluated because I knew all the way I was in denial at first. I was like, not trying to diagnose my own son, but I was like, yeah, he's on the spectrum. But there's a lot of successful people from Elon Musk to,
definitely,
you know, whatnot. But but Chris Rock, Dave Chappelle, I like Kevin Hart. I mean, he's a cancer, so you know we gotta represent.
Oh Lord,
but he gets a little obnoxious a little bit. I like him on a small stage.
Okay.
Like when he came to the Cotillion and Century 2.
Okay,
that's
you
when
know
I like
who's
Kevin
my favorite?
Let me guess. It's female.
No.
Male.
Yes.
Obviously black.
Yes.
Katt.
Ooh, close. I love Katt. Katt Williams is
hilarious.
Bernie Mac.
Oh yeah, Bernie Mac.
R.I.P. Bernie Mac. Man, I love me some Bernie Mac. Bernie is hilarious.
Bernie Mac show. That's my childhood.
Right, but I feel like what makes Bernie Mac so funny is because he says things that is like we all can relate to. Like we all like. Yeah.
See, a comedian and a magician are one and the same.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
Why would you say that?
Because like the magician, he pulls or she pulls the hat out of the rabbit out of the hat. And it's the surprise.
Okay.
See, like a laugh is the surprise. That's why you crack up.
Oh.
You know what I mean? Because you don't see it coming.
Crack up.
You crack up, you don't see it coming. So like the magician pulls the rabbit and it's like, oh.
Yeah.
Because like who would have thought a rabbit came out of somebody's hat?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I feel that.
Then when somebody's talking about a joke, they're like, oh, okay. But it's a laugh and you crack up. But laughter is the best medicine.
It sure is.
And that's why I wanted to be a comedian, because I knew that. But it's a lot of criticism.
It didn't work out. That's okay. That's all right. Yeah, I would love to do like a comedy movie. Man. And just be crazy.
Tell Troy.
In the movie.
He got you.
I know. Like Troy knows I'm like crazy. Troy, we need to capitalize on that because I want to do a movie with Pooh and Pooh Hef, which is
I don't know
my
who
brother.
That is.
Shut up.
Pooh Hef.
Yes, comedian Pooh Hef.
Oh, hold up.
Yeah, you know.
I don't know. Do I know Pooh?
You know
Pooh. I know Pooh.
You know Pooh.
You guys, this gaslight me. You know, I know Pooh.
Yeah, but you gotta know he's actually tonight he's gonna be either he's opening. Anyways, Joe Torre's here. I've interviewed Joe Torre. Shout out Joe Torre. But he's here, but he's opened up for Mike Epps, and he's done some things with Gary Owen.
Okay.
And
I think I know who you're talking about now.
Yeah. So Pooh Hef, he just did his own show at the Orpheum. But he's basically, he's my brother. And I would love to do a movie with Pooh where almost kind of like where I'm a Felicia from Friday. You right? Like, I want to play a crackhead so bad. I want to do something like that so crazy. But I feel like we would bounce off of each other really well.
That's cool, man. Speaking of Friday, what would you say are your top 5 black movies?
Ooh, top 5?
Top 5.
Oh my gosh.
Black movies. That's a hard one.
That is a hard one.
It's a hard one. I couldn't even tell.
I'm like 5? That's all I get.
Well, maybe just.
I'm gonna maybe do. Can I do?
Yeah.
I'm gonna do 3.
That's fine.
Know. They don't have to be comedy shows,
You're right.
though, right?
They don't.
Okay. All right. So I would say Love Jones.
Okay.
Because it's like classic, right?
Okay, Love Jones.
I love Jones. Friday. Like, you can't not say Friday. And Players Club. I love Players Club.
Wow.
Should have been started a long time ago. Long time ago in Africa.
Okay.
I love Players Club.
Okay.
So, yeah, those probably my top 3.
Who directed Players Club?
I have no idea. John Singleton.
Like Ryan Coogler.
I don't know.
Dang.
But yeah, Players Club is like classic for me. It's so many funny parts, and there's so many it's like, dang, like that really happens in real life.
So if Troy could be able to get all 3 of those combined and base the character for you.
Ooh. I'll probably be, I don't know. I'm like, do I want to be like the girl that hangs around the strip club and or do I want to be like Trix?
Tyrone kind of stuff?
Yeah. And I love Tyrone. Did you like that movie?
Excellent.
Yes, I love the prostitute in that movie.
Yeah.
She was hilarious to me.
Hilarious.
Who
is that?
I have no idea.
I was like, I feel like, I don't know.
Put it down in the comments, y'all. I need to find out who that is. Yeah, she was good, though.
But you would like to play a character like that? Like you and Jamie Foxx?
Yes.
That would be perfect.
That would be hilarious. And her, like, their chemistry, it was like, you believed it, right? Like, he was the pimp. Like, and she's like, I'm leaving.
I love Jamie in those roles, though.
Me too.
I love when he's doing comedy.
Jamie is like one of the... I have so many I'm a fan of acting too, and I have so many favorite actors, especially like the Jamies and the Denzels. The people that you can see in the Will Smiths. I know he slapped dude.
It don't even matter now after what Diddy did. It's like it's just a slap.
But since he came out with the Bad Boys, they've been kind of going for Will. They're like, he never apologized. It's like, chill out.
But I feel like he did. Didn't he make like some PR video?
I don't know. I don't care.
The slap is nothing compared to all the stuff Diddy's doing, man.
No, Diddy
is nothing. Will didn't get his homes raided.
Diddy is something else. Like, I literally cannot believe. And if I find out he has something to do with killing Tupac. Because
I think he had something to do with killing his Kim Porter. His
oh yeah, definitely.
I think there's something, man. Like
she was coming out with a tell-all book, so he had her.
Oh, she was.
Yeah, she was coming out with a tell-all. Like, she never woke up. Yeah, I feel like, but I do feel like. Did you see that interview with Suge Knight? He was on like the Tonight Show or something.
Okay, I don't think I seen that one, but there was another one. He was like, did he call in from jail?
No, he was. This was back in the day. He was in person, and he was talking about Eazy-E, and he was talking about how everybody was like, how does Eazy-E have AIDS? And his girl didn't have AIDS.
He went to Diddy's party.
He probably did, and they put it in his drink or something. But Suge Knight was talking about how they don't even need to gun you down anymore. Like, they can just give you a pill or give you a shot, or and you'll die of AIDS, or you'll die of pneumonia, or you'll die of a heart attack, like some natural cause. Be fine one day, next day you're dead, and it was a heart attack or something. Like
how Michael Jackson.
Like Michael. Ooh, we getting
Kanye's mom.
All right. Like,
do you believe in conspiracies?
Definitely. Like, definitely. Like, I believe in all that. I believe that there is, because everything is just, especially in that world, in the hip hop entertainment industry. Right.
It's demonic.
They play by different rules. They have access. When you got power and money.
It's crazy. I had a dream. 50 Cent was in my dream. And he told me, he was talking about this. He was like, yeah, you don't want to be in this industry. It's dark. He was just saying all this stuff. And I woke up, I was like, maybe that's what made me stop, making beats. After the dream I had with 50 Cent. He's a Cancer.
50 came to
He's
you?
a Cancer too, by the way.
If 50 told you, you better listen.
I had a dream. I had a dream. 50 Cent. He told me, he's like, the industry don't want nothing to do with this, Chris. And then I just woke up in a sweat, and I was like, what the hell?
50 came and told you.
I wasn't even really trying to get in the industry like that. So I was like, what is this dream? I'll be feeling like I be having dreams for other people. Like, what's this got to pertain to me for?
50 came to me.
50 Cent came to me in a dream.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious. But I feel like maybe like you don't want to be in this like music industry. I don't know, because I know I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it.
Oh yeah, I don't think I could. You know, that's why I started making beats.
Yeah, I couldn't do it.
Nah, I couldn't do it. I don't know why people would want to.
But there's so many people, like I feel like E40. You know what I'm saying? E40. There's so many people that have found a way to
currency
to navigate through the industry without selling their soul. Mm-hmm. You know, and I think what's his name, Mace, talks about that a lot in the podcast.
You like their podcast with Cameron?
I love their podcast.
What's it called? I forget the name of it, but I love that podcast. Cameron is so damn funny,
hilarious.
And Mace's.
What did you think about his thing on CNN?
You
like,
mad?
yo, who's the recruiting agent who's the talent agent for this thing?
Are you talking about the Bill O'Reilly?
No, that when Cam was on CNN and they were asking him about P. Diddy, and he was like, I don't know about P. Diddy. He's like, I thought y'all was calling me out here to talk about my show. Like,
ain't that something?
It's hilarious.
They just want to be like, Cam was like, yo, it's Cam. You already know what it is.
Yeah.
Harlem.
They called another New York brother and they said, tell us what you know about Diddy. He was like, what?
That's messed up. It's like
hilarious.
That's crazy. But have you seen the Bill O'Reilly? Oh man. So I'm gonna watch the CNN one.
Okay.
And you're gonna watch the Bill O'Reilly one.
Okay.
Bill O'Reilly, Cameron, Dame Dash.
Oh no.
Man.
Oh no. Dame Dash is something else too. What's his sign?
Taurus.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the bull.
Yep. Taurus. Cameron is man, I couldn't tell. I think he's a Sag.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
But you know who else is a Pisces?
Who?
Queen Latifah.
Oh, I love Queen Latifah. How can you not love Queen Latifah?
Yeah, she's a Pisces. That's what I see you as well.
Thank you.
In that kind of because my cousin's husband's sister was a stunt double for Queen Latifah's movie. And she was a stunt double for that Sonic the Hedgehog too. Like, I forget the black lady, but she tells me about Queen.
Crazy.
Yeah. She told me about different things about Queen Latifah, and like her schedule's so like busy, like boom, bam, boom.
What a blessing.
Yeah, it's a blessing. It really is. But like, man, it's probably very like overwhelming too. But she's helping people and making things, creating movies. And
she's one of the examples of somebody who's been able to navigate this industry without.
Because she started off behind the mic.
Yeah. Queen Latifah, MC Light, like they've been able to navigate their way through this industry and keep it clean.
Who's just some of your favorite female like rappers?
I like in that back era, like of course there's not that many to choose from really because it was always like one dominating at a time,
Right, Kim,
it's not like it is now, but I was a big Lil' Kim fan. Like my mom loved Lil' Kim and she would be around the house like rapping. She has no rhythm. My mom is terrible with like the words and already passed and she's still like anyways, but I love Lil' Kim, like love Lil' Kim forever. I used to didn't like how raunchy she was, I'll be honest. Like
for real?
As a little girl growing up, I'm like, why you gotta have the stars over the boobs? Like,
man, do you feel like little girls feel like that now with Sexy Red and stuff?
No, they like it. Like they like.
What happened?
I don't know.
Can we talk about this? Like, as a black married woman, mother of kids.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts about I hate to say it, because some people maybe they like Sexy Red, but like when it comes to like influence for like other black women, like. What's your thoughts about this, man? Like, because I personally don't really like her music. Not because I don't really think she's a good rapper. I'm sorry. I just don't. I don't think she is.
Yeah.
But I would love to get your thoughts as a woman, as a black woman, on Sexy Red.
So, for me, I am kind of torn because on one hand, as a woman, it's like yeah, do what you want. You know, sex sells. Guys have been using it for years, putting girls in their videos, shaking booty, but half naked.
Yeah, that's true.
Capitalizing off of that. What's wrong with a woman taking control over her own body and saying like, I'm gonna make money and profit this way? You know, so in one hand it's like, get it, girl, you know, do what you feel. If you're confident with that and you can make a living that way, go for it, you know. But on the other hand, it's like you're kind of perpetuating that idea that this is what you have to do to be famous. This is what you have to do to be liked. This is what you have to do to be desired or to be, you know what I mean? And then that's not reality. Like, don't know God. To me, I don't know any. Y'all correct me if I'm wrong.
But boys, I already know where you're going. A boy's gonna like that.
A boy's gonna like that.
But a man? Like somebody like Kurt? Come on.
You was doing what? Showing what? Where? With who? Like, they're not going for that. You know, they're not going for that. So it's like,
not, man.
No, I mean,
absolutely not. They may be going for that for, you know,
for the fun.
For the fun,
for the
exactly.
moment.
Yeah,
they
but
taking you home. You ain't
they might
mom.
take them. They might not to meet mom.
You ain't meeting mama. You definitely ain't meeting grandma.
So then it's like, what's the point then? It's just like this instant gratification of just. I mean, that's what makes me nervous.
What really is it's sad too, because even me, I will say, like, women, when you don't really know about self-worth and self-value, and you think that one of the only assets that you have is being able to show off your body, and that's the way you get attention, that's the way you get a guy and all that, like, you quickly find out, like, that get them, but that does not keep them, you know. And you go out here in the world and you're you know, kind of loose with yourself in that way. You get a reputation, and then you find, like, dang, like, I thought, you know, because I was this way, a guy would like me, and I thought, you know, this is what Sexy Red does, this is what Cardi B does, you know, this is what these women do, and all these guys, you know, like these girls. And like, why is this not working for me? It's like, because that's not real, honey. That's not reality.
Nope. You got to be able to separate reality from
entertainment,
fiction.
From fiction, really.
Yep. And really? Angelo talked about that on the podcast too, like about separating those two. And so then, like, kind of what you're saying too, I hear this a lot with a lot of the young women that I work with, the topic of OnlyFans. Yeah. You know, like, kind of what you said is kind of like, hey, you know, because I feel like what happened is there's no more shame behind sex. Yeah. And the sexual liberation has made, you know, women and men feel like you can have sex with whoever. Yep. The invention of birth control is also for that, which is a good thing. But at the same time, now it's like you can have sex with this person, not worry about if you're going to get pregnant. Yeah. So then now people are having sex with people they would not even marry. Yeah. And then they're having babies with that person, and then now you're in this cycle, you know, and.
Because once you have a baby with somebody that you really didn't see yourself with, it's like,
it happened to me.
Yeah, I mean, me too.
All right, I feel good. That shit. Remember, air out the dirty laundry.
right.
Just air it out.
But I just feel like.
And you're not talking about Kurt. We just like to get that straight.
No, of course not. I'm not talking about him. But I do feel like growing up for me, nobody told me that. Nobody told me, like,
man, right? You
should maybe have sex with people that you see yourself with. Like, it was not the conversation about like what it really means spiritually. Okay. What it means, you know, morally, what it means, like, when you really have a connection, a sexual interaction with somebody, like, what that really means and what it could possibly be, you know, because even if you're on birth control, you can still get pregnant. Even if you wear a condom, you can still get pregnant. Even if you don't wear a condom and you're on birth control, you can get an STD, you know. Man. There's just so many things that go into it. But not only that, but it's just like women were so much more emotional, you know, and so you have sex with a guy and you think, like, I'm gonna put this thing on him and he gonna stick around and stay around. He gonna love me, and then he ghosts you. He don't call you. Like, how devastating that is to a woman, and then what that eventually.
Wow, I never really thought about it in the perspective of that.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. And I think kind of like for me, like when I was going through that phase when I was younger, when you get a dose of your own medicine.
Oh yeah.
And you're like, wow,
This is
did
what
I
I've
make?
been doing. It's how I've been making people feel.
I got that dose.
Yeah.
And that's when I was like, dang.
I'm a savage.
I'm like, wow, you just gonna leave?
Yeah. So you just, yeah.
I was like, wow.
And I've turned into that because I've gotten, like
Trauma.
Yeah, from trauma. It's like, okay, this is the way we playing it. Okay, this is the way we playing it. And
It's
I've
crazy.
caused probably so many broken hearts.
Hey, air out
Not
that dirty
proud of it.
laundry. That's
Not proud of it.
That might have to be a podcast on our own.
I'm sorry.
Airing out the dirty laundry.
I'm sorry.
It's crazy.
But
Broken hearts break hearts.
yeah, hurt people, and that's very true. That's very, very true. But I feel like it's a part of life kind of going through that,
Yeah, for sure.
Nobody told me, and I talk to my boys about this because I feel like
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if we're having these conversations with our young men, what it means to have sex with a woman.
This should be a core elective in all public schools across the country.
It should.
Sex education, sex,
And not just how to put the condom on.
Not just how to like what we're talking about. Have sex with somebody that you respect and that respects you.
Yes.
Open up your heart before your legs.
Yes, and know what that means going in, especially when you take a woman's V card. You know what I mean?
Okay.
A lot of us girls are taught to hold on to that's precious.
Okay.
And you don't give it up to just anybody. But the guys are not really taught that. I feel like,
No, because and that's a problem.
Yeah, it's a problem.
And so another thing, like I always say, like being a man is about being disciplined in multiple domains, and sexual discipline is key.
It's key
Because then you could end up like NBA YoungBoy or Nick Cannon.
Yeah.
And have 11,
Have
10
11
10 different
kids.
baby mamas. But these kids I work with, they love this NBA YoungBoy, and they look up to these people, maybe not consciously but subconsciously.
Yeah.
And then it's just like, damn, like.
And especially if that's your only influence, because growing up, especially with me, I didn't have a father, but I learned a lot through listening to music. Like Tupac was an influence in my life, Biggie was an influence in my life, just listening. And so if that's the music I'm listening to, and that's like some of my influence growing up, and then you got NBA YoungBoy over here, if I was a bad chick.
I watched the interview. One of the kids showed me, and he had an interview talking about how he feels kind of like remorseful of like making that music. Yeah, and it was surprising for me to hear that. And I think a lot of rappers, they'll say that, but I'm like, hey, make a track about that.
Yeah, but they're trapped now. They've already signed. That's why it's hard.
Exactly.
It's difficult.
You can't make those songs now. And even if you did, nobody would want to hear it.
The label didn't sign you to do that. The label signed you to be this person and to make this kind of music, and this is what's selling. Yeah.
To be a clown.
Yeah.
Really? And I know, like, I love hip hop as well, but I remember my mom always told me, like, hey, it's holding us back as a community. And as I got older, and I do feel like it is, and I'm kind of torn because it's like, damn, like, are we holding ourselves back? Like, because no other community has music that degrades its own community.
Yeah.
Like country music talking about their ops. When you hear an op, you think of another black, you think of a nigga.
Yeah. Facts.
That's not your op. That's your brother.
Facts.
Your op should be,
But it's our music has always been a form of expression, and I just feel like it's gotten to a point where we like it because it's relatable and it's things that we understand that's going on in our communities, but they're not. Tupac did a interview where he said that he does like some of the music that he does because he has to grab your attention. And then once he has your attention, then he can do a Brenda Got a Baby or...
it's kind of like people that make like posts, like, provocative posts, but then they have something behind it when you go to their page.
I got to grab your attention. And if the way I grab your attention is by, okay, let me do this little dance for you. Now I got your attention. Let me spit some game to you. Let me tell you something real. Let me open your mind. Let me educate you a little bit. So I think it would be great if like NBA YoungBoys and things like that, if they made... more some conscious like songs, just that their fans and people could understand like it's not just all about having sex with bad bees and
But it is when you're a boy.
Yeah,
that's how you determine. And so like for all the young ladies out there, it's like that's how you can determine if you're dating a boy, because God for some strange reason decided to make us look our physical age. But I always say this, I've been saying this in every episode, like I wish God made us look like our cognitive age.
Oh my gosh. You know how many
like
50-year-old babies would be running around Benjamin Button
You be like, you're not even a man, you're a boy. Yeah. You look like one.
I'm 50 years old. Oh, really? Like, yeah, no, I agree with you.
So you need to grow up because now you can see it because we live in this physical, material world. We only believe what we see.
Yeah.
And so then you see this person, they look like they're a man. They look like they're an adult woman, but really they're still just a child.
Yes.
You know, and just because they haven't healed from the trauma, because we get stuck. Where we haven't healed.
Yes, we
do.
And
that's why some people act like they're 16 and they're 34.
Yeah. But you get to a point where you have to do that self-reflection and you have to really take accountability and you have to be honest with yourself. And that is the toughest thing. That's where my growth came in. When I was like, I had to do that look in the mirror and I had to be honest with myself about maybe I'm not where I want to be because of choices that I've made. Ooh. Maybe I'm not where I want to be because things that I'm doing, the people I'm surrounding myself with. Right. And it's not their fault or my mom's fault or the way I grew up or any of that, because you get to a certain point where it's like you do know better. You have experienced enough life to know from wrong, up and down. You know?
That's the third stage of moral development, because that first stage of moral development, is very self-centered. You're like a child. You're like, a little kid running around grandma's house, the vase falls over, they say she did it.
Yeah.
But it's like, come on. But like now you're in your adulthood and you're still doing she did it.
Yeah.
It's just like, come on, man, take accountability. But that's when you see like kind of, especially like narcissistic folks, like they're still very emotionally immature because they're not going to point the finger ever at themselves. It's at everybody else.
They don't like the way that feels, that guilt, the blame.
Ego protection. You can't make, you're trying to protect that representative.
Yeah.
And stop. Get rid of your representative.
Get rid of it.
And now at the same time, like ego is good, but at times you just need to know how to manage it, how to turn it down, because you do need to have the representative sometimes.
Sometimes.
Like maybe you're not feeling your best, you got a representative kicks in. And
absolutely.
You're at work or I don't know, whatever it could be,
Absolutely. I agree with you. Sometimes my representative is the only way I get through the day, because it's like I got to show up.
Exactly. We need the representative sometimes. But when your representative that's all that people see, like that's what we talked about in the beginning. Like, hey, let's get behind the scenes to figure out who you are as an artist, who you are as a person. This is what I do in therapy. Because it's like, okay, you come in here, you're trying to present like this and that. You're tough and this and that. But man, we see through it.
We see, and that's always gonna be the real. Recognizes the real.
The water signs, bro.
Yes,
we see through it.
That's right.
Intuitive.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, so it's just, that's what it's all about. Like, it's really about being able to see behind the veil.
Yeah.
And I think that's what society is doing nowadays. They're able to see through stuff. They're able to see through what Diddy doing. What Drake is doing.
Yeah.
Katt Williams' prophecy.
Mm-hmm. Did he prophesize this?
Oh yeah, with Shannon Sharpe.
with the yes,
It's the most ever viewed interview.
I watched it 2-3 times just to see if I missed something.
Yeah, Shannon Sharpe,
and I did.
We got the same birthday.
Oh, do you? And I hate the way he interviews.
I don't like the way he interviews either.
I hate the way he interviews.
He'd be like, hey, tell me about this.
Yeah.
He has that piece of paper.
I hate it.
He'd be aggressive. Like, hey, 21 Savage, so were you growing up with your sister? He'd be like, you got shot 6 or 8 times.
You know what? He's one of the podcasts that I watched, and I was like, why haven't I made it? If this man's podcast is taking off, like, it's not because I'm not famous.
But see, think about why it is, because he already has other like industries behind it. ESPN, he already has a following. And then obviously there's parts about Shannon Sharpe that, obviously people like and whatnot. And, he's been doing this longer than I am. I've been doing this. So I'm learning from certain things. But yeah, there's certain like podcasters, even like podcasts I watch, like I don't like when people try to question people's like credibility, like on certain topics or whatnot. Like I really do like how Joe Rogan allows for because it's a therapeutic element to podcasting. Definitely. Because really you are interviewing your guests and you have to be able to allow them to be able to be themselves and not have this judgment, because then that's what Shannon did with Katt. Like he didn't like question it. Are these facts? He just let him be him. Yeah. And that's why it really kind of went there. I mean, he did have some things he did, but he allowed Katt to be. It. Yeah. Oh, he did? What he said?
He did. Like he was, Katt Williams had said, who did he say? You let so-and-so come on here and say this and say that.
Yeah,
or,
right.
Yeah. There was a couple of things he called him out on, and he was saying, he was like, I don't remember, but yeah. Yeah.
I mean, what would you have done? Like if you were Shannon Sharpe, those other comedians coming onto your show and you don't know if it's true or not. Like how do you know?
You really don't. And that's really not, I've had people like that. I interviewed this one guy, and he wanted me to eventually take my interview down because...
Oh, man, I hate when those...
Like, what? Anyways, he wanted me to take the interview down
because what? What did he say?
I had interviewed someone else months later that they had not nice things to say. They didn't really say anything bad, but I had to ask the question, you know, and as interviewers, like, sometimes it's our job to get the story,
absolutely. Yep.
You know, like, everybody knows this, or it's out there, like, people are gonna watch. It's my job to ask you this, and it's not necessarily because I'm trying to be nosy or I'm trying to be messy.
You're just trying to learn.
It's out there, you know. We got to get the story, and this is the opportunity for you to say your side of like what happened or your side of what it is. I think we do have a responsibility to get both sides and to let both, or however many people are involved, tell their side of the story. But I don't think it's our job to dictate who's telling the truth, who's lying, who's, you know, like, we're not investigators.
Exactly. No. Yeah. We're just there to learn, to be curious, to be inquisitive. Yeah. You know what I mean? But so this person you're talking about, you don't have to say their name, but they wanted you to take their interview down because you interviewed somebody that they don't like. Yeah.
Like, they didn't say that, but I mean, eventually I found that out. Like, they came onto my show and they came with the person that they ended up falling out with, and they brought them on the show with them in their interview. It was like they fell out, they weren't cool anymore, and so they were like, yeah.
Oh, so you interviewed both of them?
I interviewed both of them.
Oh, okay.
The interview was just the one person, but then eventually he invited this additional person on, and so after they fell out, he's like, I don't really want.
I'm like, man, I edited all this stuff. We gonna release this, or you gonna pay me?
No, it was my most viewed interview. It was like one of the highest viewed interviews I had at the time, and this person was like, you know, well respected, and I was like, I'm completely confused why you want to take this down. It's like months and months and months later, and he didn't really tell me the true reason that he wanted me to take the interview down. But I was like, okay, you know, if you don't want to be up there, I don't want you up there. So I took the interview down.
We need to start making like a contract, having people sign like, hey. Yeah. I really thought about it because
you should.
I've had people kind of say, like, you know, some people who have like anxiety, I won't say any names, but it's like, I don't know if I want to release it. But I'm like, you know, you're just being kind of, you know, anxious, but it's a good interview. Like, man, you should watch it first, you know, before you think about it. You know, but I think we need to sound like some kind of release form.
This is my content after, you know. No, definitely,
because they do that with Breakfast Club. Like, did you see when Tyler was on there and trying to say she's not black, that she's a colored African or something? And then she was like, can we take that out? But they still
no, we're not taking none
Charlamagne's
of that out.
Like, we're gonna use this.
Absolutely. You know, though,
Charlamagne, cancer.
Oh gosh, he gives like. But I love Charlamagne. I love Charlamagne.
The streets. How does he say streets? Streets.
He's
from North
the donkey of the day. I love Charlamagne. But let me tell you.
Did you see real quick? Did you see when he interviewed Post Malone? He went in on that man. So when he first became famous, Charlamagne does not like culture vultures whatsoever. He was really rude to Post. It's funny, but it's kind of messed up. But you gotta watch that and then Bill O'Reilly and Cameron.
We're gonna be like sharing interviews back and forth on what to what, because I gotta see that one for sure.
That one is so like Cameron and Bill O'Reilly and Dame Dash. Oh God,
I love people that interview and they're not afraid to call you out or to ask the question that everybody wants to know. You know
exactly.
I interviewed this artist one time. OMG. If I would have released this interview, he would probably still be running from people in the streets. It was bad.
What?
It was bad. Like,
what did he do?
He was just name dropping, and he was just saying, you know, if you from the streets, certain things like are just not talked about publicly on camera. You know, like,
that's true.
It's just not. Like, we may talk about it off camera, you know, you may tell me, but this dude, like, he got to going and he just started flowing and he was name dropping and he was talking about things that I was like, you know,
the street stuff.
Wow. And after, he wanted to redo the interview because he knew that, like, he had said a little bit too much. And I was like, I'm going to do it because I'm afraid for your safety. Like, I don't want to release it. I don't want to release it because I'm afraid for your safety. And then also at the same time, I just didn't want my platform to be associated with so much negativity.
Man, and so, see, so as, content creators, we got to be responsible of what we put on our show.
We do.
And that's the tough part, but at the same time, we got to make sure we're not just uploading stuff to get clickbaits.
Yeah.
Because obviously we could do the raunchy stuff. And some people do, and they do a good job at it, but you just got to know your style. And like for me, this is at my house.
Yeah.
So it's just like, I get people that, hey, let me go, my album dropping, let me go. Like if I like to interview people, and I realized this morning, who I'm kind of, inspired by.
Yeah.
Because if I'm inspired by them about something they're doing, I'm curious about them, and then too, I feel safe.
Yeah.
To bring them into my basement, into the house.
To their
I'm
home.
not about to bring over somebody who I don't even know their music. Like, I brought Hippie K on because I genuinely like his music. Like, as an artist, when I was rapping as well, it's just like, obviously, like there's some local artists who can rap, and there's some that just can't.
They cannot. And you don't want to just shit on people, but
you got to, man. Remember, you're not ready for success if you can't deal with the feedback.
That's what I told.
You need that feedback of like, hey, this is like, man, like as a therapist, like so many kids like, man, Mr. Chris, you want to hear my new song? And I'm like, yeah, I will, but would you like for me just to listen to it, or are you looking for feedback?
Me, Mo, and Young C were talking about doing music reviews right at the studio at Mixdown.
People are gonna be coming up to Mixdown mad.
Okay, first of all,
they can record it at Mixdown.
We can lock it, and we all keep our pistols on us, all three of us at all times.
Hey, there you go.
Yeah, we don't play no games, but we said we were gonna do music reviews. Mo and C are so nervous about me doing the music reviews because they're like, Janee is just too honest, and I'm
like Jack Stacks.
Yeah, but shout out Chris, shout out Jack Stacks, and I know he because I used to ask him like, bro, you don't say nothing bad about nobody's like stuff, and I know all that food don't taste good. I know it don't, and he's like, yeah, but I don't want to say anything negative about anybody's business. But
see, that I think he'll be more successful when he does. Because he'll be like, what's his name? The Simon from American Idol.
Yeah.
Well,
I did see him recently say that he was going to change it up, that he was going to be honest with his feedback. You can't be liked by everybody. You can't be like, but Chris is like, Chris was one of my very first friends when I moved to Wichita. Chris and Avery, shout out my guys. But
nice.
I didn't really get along with a lot of the girls, and I played sports, and Chris and Avery was my friends, and I'm so proud of both of them. Just like right. All of us when we get together, I'm so proud because I know like it wasn't easy. It wasn't like the toughest road, but it wasn't the easiest road, and just like Avery's a great father and a working man and a husband, and Chris is a great father and a husband, and we're all doing so well, so I'm so proud of them. But Chris, I don't think Chris has ever had an enemy in his whole life. Like I don't think anybody has ever disliked him. I don't even know if he could how he would feel if somebody did dislike him, because he does have that personality, like get over it, in real life.
And I was rewatching the because this relates to that, because it was the Mike Tyson and Lil Boosie interview. Okay. I love Mike Tyson. He's a cancer.
He is a cancer.
And he'd be like, Boosie, how do you feel about feelings? He'd be like, Boosie, how do you feel about this? But he said something about on the lines of like, you're not always going to be liked by everybody. Mm-hmm. And so maybe, I don't know, maybe that's what Chris, he's used to, just being liked, and that can be a good
ruffle feathers.
Yeah, and it can be a good thing, but at the same time, you gotta know when to put that foot down.
Yeah,
you bring out that representative.
That's my problem too. It's like I don't care. Like I've been disliked, like I don't care. Like you don't like me, I don't care. Like, and I had to pull that back. Actually, DJ 3, when I started working with Coalition. Yes, when I started working with 3, he was like telling me like, Jay, you gotta cool it. Like, you really gotta cool it, because I would just like, I don't care.
It's like with Monique that's the interview with Shannon, Sharpe and Monique.
Yeah,
when like people were telling her, but like I think that's when you gotta know that to check yourself and realize like, damn, like am I messing up relationships because I'm doing too much? Do I need to turn it down?
Do I need to turn it down?
Yeah, you still can be you, but we just asking you to turn the volume down
just a little bit.
You can
because you can handle things. You can still be that person that's like put your foot down, but you can approach it a certain way and articulate your feelings in a certain way where it's not so hard and it's not so harsh. And I think that's what I had to like really learn. Like, and then for a minute I was battling with myself because it was like, man, the old Janee would have cussed that person out. Like, that would have been, I would have said, da-da-da-da-da. And I just let them get away with it. You know, I didn't say anything. Man. So then I had to find that balance where it's like, I can't just let people walk over me and just not speak up for myself and not say things because I don't want to make anyone mad. I don't want to burn any bridges. But then at the same time, I can't just be cussing everybody out.
No.
You know?
I mean, you can, but then people are not going to be around you.
Yeah.
And so once again, it's man, the ego. That's another class that should be a core elective in these schools.
Yes.
Because when you talk about the source, like, okay, well, what's the godly thing to do? Like, what would Jesus be doing? What would these holy figures in the past, like, what would they be doing? Like, would they care? Because there's so much like, I'm not gonna let this person disrespect me. They said this and this. It's like, who cares? We take so much stuff. I think as Black people, we take things way too personal.
And I remember in middle school when I was going to this middle school, hard middle school in Denver, and my aunt was walking me through the doors, and she told me, Janee, you're going to this school, and this school is either gonna make you or break you. The very first person that tries you, punch them right in their face. Like, punch them in their face. Don't even think about it. Like, take care of your business, because if you don't, they're going to mess with you all year. Right?
So your aunt told you this?
My aunt told me this, and I was terrified because I wasn't really a fighter. I had gotten into one fight before that, and I was terrified. But I knew my aunt would only tell me that if I needed to hear it. And I did just that. The first person, and it was so crazy. That reputation followed me. Like, it still follows me. People, I'm like, you remember when you beat that girl up? But
so nowadays they have it already recorded.
Yeah, nowadays it'd be recorded.
It'll be on YouTube.
It'd be different. Yeah, you pull it up every time. But as I got older, I remember when I was turning 30, I had gotten into a fight, and after the fight I cried, and I won, but I cried and cried and cried because I told myself that I was done with that. Like, I didn't want, but I didn't know how else to resolve my problems. If somebody said something disrespectful to me, if somebody did something disrespectful, my first instinct was slap them, punch them, show them don't mess with you. Like, I had no other idea how to solve like conflict with anyone else. And it was like, I am 30 years old, and if I have an argument with somebody or somebody says something to me that I don't like, I have no idea how to articulate my feelings and tell them like, hey, you violated me, or I didn't like the way you said that, or I didn't like when you do that. And I lost out on so many opportunities, and I burnt bridges and burnt opportunities like that I could have had because I got this reputation, or I got this, don't work with her, she got a bad attitude, like she doesn't know how to. And it was like, I was always like, that's not true, I was just defending myself, or that's not true. And it didn't register to me, and it didn't click to me like, yeah, you're the problem. Wow. That's such,
man. So do you think it was because your aunt telling you that as a kid, or was that something you learned before she even said that?
No, I just think it really was the way that I grew up. Like, I grew up rough. I grew up in the projects. I grew up like.
Was it Aurora? Denver? Was it what part of Denver?
Montbello. Okay, so a little bit outside of Aurora. The school I went in was in Green Valley.
Okay.
MLK. But it was
MLK
rough.
Is always rough. Like,
all over the world. Every MLK. Why is it like that?
The conspiracy.
Martin is turning over in his grave.
It should be the opposite, right?
Non-violence.
Why my street gotta be the hardest street? MLK and Broadway streets.
Always. No matter what city and state you in.
MLK, Malcolm X, like, something going on around these.
Man, I'm telling you. But MLK in Denver, damn. I mean, I went there, and it was just like, you had to be that way. There was cliques, and there was gangs, and and it was like, I appreciated at the time that is what I needed, but nobody taught me how to get out of survival mode. Nobody taught me how to get out of that mentality of, just defensive, like defending myself or attack mode or whatever it is, survival.
The reptilian brain.
Exactly.
The amygdala.
Yes. And so when I'm trying to learn how to get out of, now I'm an adult and I'm not in survival mode anymore, you know, or I am in survival mode, but I shouldn't be. Like, my circumstances have changed. I'm in a different
Do you feel like
space.
you're in it? You're not in it anymore, though.
No. But do you know how much work that I had to do, how much self-reflection, how much accountability, how many conversations I really had to have with my source and with myself to say, like, you're doing these things because you're still in survival mode. These things are still happening to you because you're still operating off of survival mode.
Right.
And I think that that's something powerful that we have to tap into with our youth and talk to our youth and tell our youth about, because nobody is teaching these kids how to do conflict resolution.
No, because their parents might be operating in survival mode.
Yeah, absolutely.
They don't even know themselves.
Absolutely.
And so where that comes from is that we develop these coping mechanisms that actually work when we are in that tough situation in our childhood. It might be necessary for you to do that stuff then, but now as an adult,
you don't know how to get out of it.
You can't use those same coping mechanisms.
They're not going to work. They're not going to work.
It's like maybe like you're in like a tough environment. Let's say you grew up rough. You needed to have those kind of coping mechanisms to survive in that environment, whether it be if you were in Iraq, you know, military, or even in jail.
Yeah.
On the streets, tough school, tough home. You had to develop coping mechanisms to survive. But now when you're in that safe space and you're still trying to use these coping mechanisms when you're in Iraq, you're going to ruin relationships. And so that's once again, we get stuck where our trauma is at, you know, and so that's why we have to heal. But then again, we have to have that hard conversation with ourselves, like, damn, I am the common denominator out of all of my relationships.
And that's tough.
It's very tough because you have to check yourself. And so that really what it means is, like, have you thought about rebranding? And as you can see, like, I want to always keep flavor, and there's nothing wrong with that because that's good. But imagine if it was bad, and you still like, oh no, it's always going to be flavor.
This is what it is.
But like, imagine like if it wasn't, you know what I mean? And so that's what happens. Really, change comes down. We don't want to change our identity. You know, because
it's the unknown. That's what we're scared of, and change
like,
is very uncomfortable. And change is hard. Change is hard. The unknown,
scary.
You know, it's what they say. The devil that you know is
more comfortable than the new one,
than the one you don't.
That's why people stay in this trash relationship, trash jobs,
trash life,
cities.
Yes. Because it's the change part that's very scary.
Right. Yeah. But when you get it more, like, even like me starting this podcast, like, it was tough in the beginning because I was like, you know, I don't want to be back in front of the camera. You know what I mean? But I had so many people tell me, like, you need to do a podcast. You need to do a podcast. And then after like that fourth person, you're like, all right, like,
let me try this.
Yeah, let me get back and doing this.
I think you're really good.
Because I was already doing it at K-Sun.
Yeah.
You know, we were doing the show and I interviewed.
Was it audio only or?
It was video.
It was video.
It was because the main thing was like I was DJ and I was like, man, we gotta get more people tuning in. I was like, what should we do? It's like, let's just like interview the artists we play. Like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
Kind of like I was like, that's like Breakfast Club, but this was like back in 2016, like before like podcast was like
a thing.
Yeah. But not saying that, you know, I was the leader in podcasting.
You sounded like Soulja Boy.
Soulja Boy.
I was the first. I was the first. I put the first podcast. No, I'm kidding.
Hey, shouts out to Soulja Boy though, because Soulja Boy, I followed Soulja Boy like through his journey.
Did you?
I didn't like his music, but I like with the Miami Mic. I was like, it's like Soulja Boy. Like I knew like all the stuff.
He did do a lot of. He's very innovative. He did do a lot.
I spoke to Soulja Boy through text.
Ooh.
And he was supposed to design me a website. He used to design websites, but he wanted like $450.
Yeah.
I was like 13 at the time. I had no $450. But he would design these websites and like he guaranteed like I would get like certain traffic. But Soulja Boy's a business guy.
He is. That's why he's still got.
He made TikToks in 2006.
Yeah.
He's making TikTok. Nobody
basically. Yeah.
Literally, you know. So I think the only reason why Soulja Boy could be bigger is because once again the same topic. He don't want to change his identity. He still want to be that hood dude from Mississippi.
Give it up, Soulja.
But if he knew how to pivot, man, he'd be man.
And that's I think that's a good point, because for all the people that grew up watching him, it's like we're in a different space now. So just like
you still being the boy.
He's still being Soulja Boy.
Soulja
like,
Man. We need Soulja Man.
Where's the Soulja Man?
That's what Kendrick told me Drake. He said, I talked to the boy, but I talked to the man.
I love the whole Kendrick and Drake. And you know, it broke my heart because I was a Drake fan.
Man, you just,
I love his music, right?
Yeah, I've been scared to say that because y'all love Drake. I can name 10 Drake songs before 10 Kendrick songs. I'm so torn with the beef because it's like, man, it's like me as a fan, and then I have me as a therapist.
Yeah, right.
And then I'm just like, oh, you know, J. Cole did the right thing, but I'm like, nah. As a fan, come on. Yeah, I just saw you on tour. You and Drake. How you gonna leave your homie like that?
Like that? You know he's battling like Kendrick. Like, come on now. But you know what? When I heard them coming for Kendrick, I was like, don't do that. Like, don't disturb that man over there. That man over there is dangerous.
Why Kendrick won is because he had the relationships behind him.
You think that's why he won?
Yep.
No.
Yep.
No.
Yep.
There's no way.
He had relationships. And let's look at it. First of all, he had Pyru. He had the streets already. You affiliate with a gang. You already got the streets. Drake has been trying to get the streets forever. He was at the Cool Table, which was Atlanta, but then with Future and Metro, after that whole thing, it's just like he kind of no longer is with Atlanta.
Yeah.
So 21 can't really back him up.
No.
Because he's with them, and so now he's no longer at the Cool Table, and then now Kendrick come up to him, he all alone.
Drake acting light skinned. You out here acting light skinned.
Kendrick hit him in the face. He don't got nobody. All of his friends are all diplomatic. They're like, so whoa,
y'all just gonna watch him punch me in the face. Like I really, honestly.
Everybody was scared of the boogeyman.
But come on, Kendrick is a real lyricist. Like he really do this. And
yeah, for sure.
He doesn't need a ghostwriter.
And it hurt me with these reference tracks that came out.
What you mean?
The Drakes, all these reference tracks.
What reference tracks? What you mean?
He don't write his own music.
No, but we've been knowing that, right?
But like hearing the reference tracks, like to Mob Ties. To
okay, yeah. Absolutely.
It's like man, I like these songs. I thought you wrote these.
No, we've been knowing. Come on now,
but when you actually hear like the reference track, it's just like, dang, it's like wow, like this is not real. It's like my first time when I found out about weave. Because
that ain't your hair.
Because my mom, you know, she got bullied because, you know, she had, you know, Native American. So she always naturally had long hair. So like growing up, I never seen that. I didn't have any sisters.
Yeah.
So I remember I was 6th grade.
This is hilarious.
I was 6th grade and I was in science class, Mr. Proctor. And there was this black girl. I'm not going to say her name, but she's cool people. And one day, her hair is short. I'm just like, okay, yeah, you know, nice hair. I like your hair is short. But then the next day,
it was long again.
It was long, and I was just there in class, just looking right behind him. Just like, I'm like, am I tripping? You know, and I wasn't high or nothing. Like I was just like, what's going on? And then I didn't want to be rude and ask her. I was like, maybe she got some kind of condition or something. And then I was just like, hey, yesterday.
You did not ask.
I asked. I was like, yesterday, your hair was short and now it's long. Like, you know, maybe you can teach me what you doing so I could grow my hair out. Like, I try to frame it like that.
Yeah.
Like, I wasn't trying to grow hair. That wasn't really popping.
Curious.
I was really curious. And then she said something rude and just walked off. But then my friend, luckily, he's like, bro, he's like, she got extension. Those are micro braids.
Okay, micro braid. I remember.
And I was like, oh, okay. And I acted like I knew. Hilarious. I act like I knew, but I still didn't know. And then it took me to freshman year. I was like, oh, I get it.
That's hilarious.
So I just wasn't raised by around a lot of women, you know, and the people in my family, the women, they have natural longer hair. So I just,
how do you feel about weave?
I think that is beautiful.
You know, better say, you better sit here with a black woman. What you think about my weave?
No, the edges, I love the edges.
Thank you. I work on these.
Yeah, I think it's cool to be able to. Man, that's a good question.
Right.
Look at how do you feel about weave? No, I respect it. I think if I was a woman, I'd probably have some weave.
I mean, it's great. You know what I mean? Change it up a little bit. Okay, but let me ask you this:
can a guy get weave?
Can a guy get weave?
I have a client. He got some dreads that are not all the way his. Yes. I think if it's like blended in, maybe you might pass. But if it's like 100%, like. I think that kind of is,
Can a guy get a frontal? You know, because the guys got the frontal nowadays.
I think that's cool. Or like tattoo. I think maybe that's cool. But
That's cool.
I just like picture somebody in the comments say like, "Oh, you hating on?" I got. I don't know though, man, because
like to each his own. Like
it's I guess it's like the amount, how much
weave?
Yeah, if a guy wants to get weave, I had never even had this conversation ever in my life. Can a guy get weave? That's the double standards that has in genders. Guys can't get weave.
It's like, so you got a full frontal.
Destigmatize weave for men, right? Is that weave?
Is what? Tiger's hair?
Yeah.
Does he have braids now?
Yeah, is that his?
Yeah, I think that's his. I think.
Because what's like that surgery you can get like to help with the hairline? Like I would get that. I don't think nothing wrong with that.
Okay.
I would get
that's
that.
That's kind of like your hair though, because they take like real follicle hair.
Okay, they do. Okay,
like,
okay.
I think.
Okay.
Like the kind of road game.
There is a guy that I know, and I know it's not his hair.
Yeah.
It looks like waves, but it's not his hair.
I've actually seen the process like done, and I'm amazed by it.
Yeah.
Then some guys, I'm just like, go get that weave, you know, because they're trying to hang on and they don't have it, and I'm just like, go get you some.
How would that work though?
How would what work? Them going to get some weave?
Is like, could you get like a weave? Like could this be like?
Yeah,
I get something like this.
I'm trying to look to figure out, is yours real, like, or is that a wig? Because it looks really good, and you got some good hair, like the the quality, like it looks like you got like a nice texture.
Yeah, I think it's just but see, I've always been kind of torn with that too, because people, and I appreciate people give me the compliments, but it's like. Good hair. That's a good documentary. Have you watched that? With Chris Rock?
Bits and pieces.
Because it's like good hair is associated with if your hair is less African,
like kinky,
or more like European.
Right.
We associate good with more European. You go to a good school.
Right.
You could live in a good neighborhood.
So I have good hair, and I've heard that my whole life. Like,
because it's not as
you're black with good hair. Like,
isn't that crazy though?
I got into a fight behind that actually in middle school.
Because somebody said what?
That I thought I was all that because I was black with good hair. And
yeah, that's my mom went through stuff like that.
Yeah, no, because that's why I said a lot of my friends were guys, because the girls did not like me. They don't like you. You got that good hair.
I heard a lot of women say that same thing. They don't like girls.
Not with the good hair. You see, I said Becky with the good hair. Like, you got good hair. It's a problem. Like, no, I'm kidding. But no, seriously, good hair. Like, I do understand. It's so crazy though, because my hair will not fro in a certain way, you know, like, so if I wanted to do like a twist out, like on my hair, and like a like 3-strand twist, and I wanted it to be kind of full looking, and it just was flat, and it just didn't give what I wanted it to give. And I was like, so every time I see my other black queens with the full, thick, pretty, beautiful, natural hair, I'm like, oh, I want that. And they're looking at my hair like, I wish I had your hair. And I'm like, I wish I had your hair. So it's crazy how that works. But
that's crazy how it works. So you would like to have
a little bit kinkier hair.
Would you wear it out like that?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yes, I know. There's this little girl that I know. I know her mom really, but her mom does the twist out on her hair, and I'm just so in love with her hair. Yeah. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, I wish I had your hair. And she's like, it's so, this and so that. She doesn't appreciate.
Man.
And I'm like, look at that beautiful
hair. You don't see what you have.
Yeah.
It's like, wow.
Wow.
It's great.
That's what
the grass
I want.
is greener?
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay.
Yeah.
You feel like the grass is greener?
Maybe. On the other side.
When
it comes to hair, like, it looks greener over there. Like,
they just spray painted it.
Possibly.
People be spray painting their lawns.
Lawns, yeah.
Have you seen it on TikTok?
No, I haven't seen that.
It's crazy.
I'm just getting into TikTok. Like, just getting into it. But the only reason why I'm into it is because my sons always ask me to TikTok dance with them.
TikTok be showing love though for the podcast.
They show major love, and I'm so mad at myself that I wasn't on there before.
I know. It took me forever to get TikTok because honestly, I really don't like social media.
Really?
Nope.
Yeah,
I just post and go
and get off. Right.
But then even my partner, she's like, man, you gotta engage though. You gotta engage if you want people to engage with you. So it's like kind of like imagine you just showing up to the party and then you get your food and leave. Like nobody likes the cousin that comes to the Thanksgiving, and just grabs the plate. And
all right, y'all, I'm out.
That's how I am with social media.
Me too.
I'd be like, all right, I brought something. You know, it's home cooked.
Yeah.
But you know, I'm gonna go ahead and drop it off, and then I'll see y'all. But I'm not even there to enjoy to see if the people like it. Like
nothing.
You know?
I gotta. I'm doing better about it.
Right.
But people get on my nerves. You know, like that's why I don't scroll because I'm like, all right, yeah, all right.
You see something, you're like, all right. But I mean, it's all good though, man. I think at the end of the day, man, like really people that we don't really get along with or whatnot are just reminders of stuff that we need to like work on and heal from.
And I can always learn something from somebody, and that's my thing too. It's like I've had people that are like, will you interview so and so, because there's like known that we don't really like each other, and I'm like, I'll interview anybody, you know, because
I don't care.
Yeah. I'll interview you because a lot of the times, like, I really don't know you really don't know me, and I might find that it was a misunderstanding, or
that's what it usually comes down to.
That's what it usually comes down to. Or I might learn a little bit more about you that makes me accept or look at you a little bit different, like, oh, okay, now I can see why you act like that, and then maybe I can tolerate you a little bit more, maybe you can tolerate me a little bit more. So yeah, I'll interview anybody.
But yeah, you know, it's been really cool getting to talk with you today, and I really appreciate you coming on the show.
You know, so very
easy to talk to.
See, that's why we do what we do. You're easy to talk to. Yes. This is why we got into this field.
Definitely. And I feel like there's like, you know, like comedy, like that comes to my mind. Like I could see you doing like a TV show. Yeah. You know, and Queen Latifah, like in like a Queen Latifah, you know, maybe even Tiffany Haddish. But yeah, you're definitely born to entertain.
Thank you.
I think you're born to entertain.
Thank you.
Because it's natural for you. Yeah. You know, it's really natural for you. So that's a gift. Yes. And eventually you're going to figure out why you're, you know, here. Exactly. So
and
you
then
just got to
have to run this back.
Yeah, we're going to run it back.
When I'm like, you remember you told me.
Yeah. Yep. Like, it's going to happen. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is.
Hey, it's something. I agree with you.
It's going to evolve, and you just be ready.
I'm going to be ready. You be ready, because I'm going to come get you. I need to interview you on my platform. Because even though I had such a great time being on the other side, I have so many questions for you.
Because see, last time I went to Mixdown, you guys didn't have any of that stuff. It was like, that was like 2017.
Yeah.
So you guys didn't, you got a whole new location, Mo said.
A whole new room. Like,
okay, because you guys used to be on like hydraulic or something.
Okay, yeah. So now I wasn't a part of Mixdown then. I used to go to the battles though. Did you go to the battles there? Okay, so
I didn't want to get shot.
Right, that's pretty, you know, yeah, they get a little crazy, but C is highly respected in a lot of
I hear that,
so people usually act right, but now we're over on Laura downtown. Yeah, let me tell you real quick before I leave. I was at Mixdown Studios, and young C had Miles Murray in the booth at the time. He was Zechariah. Okay. And so I remember hearing him sing, and I loved his voice. But I'm only there to say hello to C and get out. So I always end up like kind of staying in people's sessions because I just love the music. But absolutely, I was there, and I didn't even know Miles at this time. And I'm like, hey, like, you need to push that out. Like, you hold him back. Like, you really need to. And I'm giving them like music tips and everything. I'm not even supposed to be in this man's session. Like, but I just knew like he could give the track more. And I'm like, I don't know how you sit here all day, C, and not like
just trying to coach them.
Yeah, trying to coach them.
They don't want the feedback.
No, they don't.
They're not coming there for the feedback. That's the service is to be recorded.
Yeah, I can do it.
Because I asked Angela. So I would be like, hey, like if you're recording in my studio, we're gonna actually help you as an artist. But then again, like maybe people don't. It's hard. It's hard. So you gotta let them just make. The people are gonna tell them.
Yeah, that's why I couldn't do. I don't want it.
So do you do that for full time? What do you do full time for work?
I work like a regular job, like a regular 9-to-5 job. Yeah. But like,
this is your like supervisor know you have like all these podcasts?
I you know what? Before I used to tell them, but now I just don't, like, because people are like they'll. I know. I done been fired for conflict of interest. You know, just because of things that they've seen on my podcast, things that I've said, and it's just like,
that's crazy.
So I just don't anymore. I keep it separate.
So you're saying there was a time you were working and your company, they saw one of the episodes.
Yeah.
That's one of my fears.
Yeah.
Like even with the episode with Brandon, I was like, I told him, I was like, "Yo, this is some anti-Semitic stuff." I was like, I'm gonna be canceled.
I thought that too. I was like, "Ooh, he's going."
I wasn't gonna, but to upload it.
That's your most like viewed interview. I love that interview.
I know. That's why I was like, man, I don't even want to upload it. Yeah. But then I was just like, something told me. I was like, man, people can connect to it. And then a colleague was like, just put a disclaimer.
Yeah, just put a disclaimer
up in there so then you can be protected.
And then you've had I watched another interview,
Deontay, and then
a preacher.
Yeah, he just got his a seminary degree.
That was a really good one. The dude that worked at Walmart.
Yeah, Trent.
That was a really good one.
He's always late.
Oh, was he late?
He's not to that. That's actually his first time he showed up on time. Was for the podcast. Funny. But like in general, like even like going to just wherever, he's always like
he's
2-3 hours late.
Yeah, we gotta, man. I'm so happy that I got to meet you.
Yes.
After watching all of your interviews, and I was nervous to come here because I was like, you got preachers and nice.
Yeah, Brandon pulled out the Bible on the episode.
Yeah, like
I thought I was gonna get canceled. I was like, that's why we just gonna upload this. If I get canceled, then that's just it.
No, I love that interview. I love Black history, and I love learning things or opening my mind to. I'm not a very religious person either. I'm very spiritual, and so just listening to him talk like that, it was like,
right. And so that what you just said right there, that's what Fully Connected is all about.
I love it.
It's trying to get that because that makes you think, and so once again, this is the Fully Connected podcast. Everything's connected energetically, right? And so I'm glad you guys could connect with us. We're gonna sign off. J Nichelle.
Thank you. Man. So good.
The Queen of Wichita. Right? We're going to give you that title already right now.
Oh, man, you might get canceled.
All right, guys. Make sure you share, like, and subscribe. Go to J Nichelle's Instagram. What is it? Janee 316?
Yeah, it's Flavor by J Nichelle on YouTube.
Okay.
Flavor by J Nichelle.
There we go. Subscribe, like, watch. All right.
Yes.
Repost, whatever you got to do, man. So we're going to sign off. Thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. Peace and stay well. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Fully Connected.